Alright folks, welcome back to the Rapture Gaming Network League playoffs, the semi-final draw between Mineski and MiTH. You're watching Shiver Gaming. Shiver is still away at DreamHack. She'll be coming back probably either later tonight or tomorrow morning in Central European time. She'll be back on this stream, either if she streams before then, but definitely for Star Ladder tomorrow. So the Star Ladder games tomorrow start at 1700. And Shiver will be on for those. Until then, I'm Vikramond. We'll go through this game. Before we note anything, we should know that MiTH is playing with two stand-ins. My understanding is that two players are delayed coming to the LAN cafe because there's been traffic. There are currently anti-government protests going on in Thailand, and they're causing traffic blockades and other things. So, fairly unusual, but certainly we can all forgive them for not being able to come or coming late as a result of, not being able physically to come due to various issues. So Mineski MiTH, this is an interesting matchup. Basically a rivalry, I would say. Any games that I've cast of these two teams have had some pretty heated discussion in the chat. I was trying to review last night some of the games, like the GEST July final between these two teams that Mineski actually won 3-1. And the discussion in the comments was very heated. Of course, the lifetime record is 10 for MiTH, 7 for Mineski. Of the first 7 games that these two teams played against each other, MiTH was able to win 6. I should say in Dota 2. These teams have a history stretching all the way back into Dota 1. I'm talking about specifically just in Dota 2. But then, of course, Mineski has been on more of a hot streak recently. I feel like since TI3, in the TI3 Eastern qualifiers, I would definitely say that MiTH was the stronger team. They were in the top half of the Eastern qualifier draw. Mineski was in the bottom half. But since the TI3, Mineski have, to me, looked a little sharper than MiTH have. That said, MiTH is still an excellent team. They have one of the best farming carries on the scene in the form of Lakels. And I'll be excited to see what they manage to do, although, of course, they are playing with two stand-ins. One of them is their coach, so certainly he's very familiar with their playstyle. Let's look at the draft a little bit. We have Alchemist and Crystal Maiden picked up for Mineski, and Clockwork and Visage picked up for MiTH. So Mineski here is actually drafting both of their support heroes. The reason I say this is Alchemist has been transitioning from more, we talked about this yesterday, more of a carry role into more of a support role. He certainly is able to carry, he's able to play mid. Some Chinese teams like to run in mid. I know Super of VG favors the hero mid, but I think support is a very strong place for him. Furthermore, Mineski have been running Alchemist support a lot. They ran it in 2 of their 3 games against Titan Esports in the quarterfinals, whom they defeated to get here. And so they may have drafted both supports already. It might be Oa on the Crystal Maiden, Jay on the Alchemist. So I think that would be a pretty solid lineup. It gives them both their supports early. They're both very strong high-tier supports. MiTH, meanwhile, takes the Visage. So that's the support, obviously. And the Clockwork, who most likely is going to be either off-lane or mid. It's kind of tough to say, as we don't know. Without ABBA and R5, we're just not sure which heroes are favored by which players. So some of these heroes, like Clockwork, that can pull double duty, we don't necessarily know that they're going to be, whether they're going to be mid or off lane. But off lane is the default spot for Clockwork. Naga Siren is also the draft for MiTH. This is another hero that can pull multiple duties. Lately we've seen her more and more just as a dedicated support. But there are a few teams that still like to run her carry sometimes. Illidan, the carry player for Poseidon, who's now been recruited by Virtus Pro. He plays Naga Sirens as a carry sometimes. I know that Miracle, who's now on Titan, used to be on Rising Stars, and before that first departure, he also likes farming Naga, even after the nerfs to her base damage. So it is an option. Naga's a hero we aren't seeing as much lately. The last round of nerfs to her Riptide really made her a less desirable support in a lot of ways. But she's still very strong. She still has one of the best disables in the game in the form of the Ensnare. And Riptide is still excellent. And she has that semi-carry potential later on. So we'll see if MiTH want to use her as a support. I think most likely Naga Visage is a very common support pick from 6.78. We haven't seen it as much in 6.79, but neither of these teams have actually had that many official matches since the patch launched. Only a handful between the two of them. So maybe they haven't switched over as much. But Mineski definitely has been rocking this support alchemist very, very commonly. So looking towards more picks, Lone Druid comes out for Mineski, and you can see that because MiTH had only drafted one support in their first set, Mineski focused on support bans for the second set. Sand King, of course, very, very common pick in Southeast Asia. He goes in and out of favor in the Western and Chinese scenes, mostly out, but we did see Fnatic pick him up a few times in the DreamHack playoffs, including in the last game against Navi, the Sandstorm game. So he's a hero that, of course, is a possibility and definitely popular among Southeast Asian teams. Both Mineski and MiTH play this hero more than the average team does. For MiTH, meanwhile, they took out the Outworld Devourer. Well, the first phase they took out Lich and Timbersaw. These are pretty typical first phase bans. Lich, Timbersaw, Lifestealer for Mineski. Mirana is a less common ban, but she's been so popular lately, and she really can just be an annoying presence in a game. She lands a few arrows, and suddenly the tide of the game is turned, so they chose to take that out. MiTH in the second phase, OD Weaver. OD just a very, very strong hero, especially if they were planning on going into a Storm Spirit pick. Storm Spirit is a hero that really struggles against the Outworld Devourer in lane, so it makes sense to take out the OD if you're planning to go into something like a Star Spirit or a Puck or a Queen of Pain pick. These heroes that really rely on having pretty good base damage. Storms is, I think, 52-ish. But then it's int based, of course. They're int heroes, so once OD gets a couple steals, all of a sudden you're doing 46 damage and OD is doing 89 or something, and the lane becomes very, very difficult. Heroes that you want against OD, if you want to let OD through and you think the other team is liable to pick him, there's a very narrow set of supports, set of mids that you can pick. People like Razor, to some extent Venomancer, to some extent Viper, although it's not a great matchup. Kunkka, Troll. They have to be mids that don't require aren't int based. It's very, very, very tough to play against OD as an int hero. Windrunner, the pickup from Mineski. This is a hero that's been gaining a lot of popularity recently. She goes through fad phases. Like, people will start picking her a lot and then taper off and then start picking her a lot again. But certainly 6.79 has been kind to the hero. Wherever she ends up laning, she wants levels. And the way that people used to guarantee her levels is really they would only, I'm talking about 6.78 now, they would only run her mid or as a side lane carry in a 3 role and an offensive tri-lane. Now you have a lot more flexibility, and so you can draft the hero and not give away too much information, even late in a draft. This could be an off-lane Windrunner, it could be a mid-Windrunner. It could even be, Southeast Asia has run her as a tri-lane farmer. Honestly, she's a perfectly competent support as well if you want to change your alchemist into a core alchemist, like a farming alchemist, which is still viable. You can just put the alchemist in a safe lane and then have the Windrunner even be a support. She used to be run only by EGM of Alliance, and then basically everybody's running it now. It's certainly popular for Navi, popular for a lot of other teams. Anti-Mage is the band that comes out 5th from Mineski, and MiTH immediately responds by taking the Morphling. These are, if you know anything about these teams, you know that Lakels likes to play hard carries. He's very, very much farming-oriented. He holds the record for the highest GPM in any professional Dota 2 game, with in excess of 1,300 GPM on Alchemist. In fact, for a while, Lakels' average gold per minute on Alchemist was over 1,100. I don't know if that's still true, but it was true for a surprisingly long period of time. And he's one of the world's preeminent Morphling players, one of the world's preeminent anti-mage players. Morphling would be more of a Lakels targeted ban. It would be more, oh, we know this player loves to play this hero, he's very good on this hero. But anti-mage is a more... we just feel this hero is generally stronger than Morphling, and we'd rather ban him. Mineski certainly banned this AM, knowing that MiTH would select probably Morphling in response, but they decided that it was a worthy decision anyway, just because Anti-Mage is a little bit of a stronger hero on the whole. So those will be the picks. Mineski will go for a final pick, Invoker. This is a hero that's been seeing a lot more exploration recently, with the ability to invoke 2 spells at level 2. Well, level 3, I should say. But he's a very, very strong hero. He's still level dependent. That's another challenge. You basically either have to get a MiTH or you have to have a very, very good early phase. We saw Invoker in both games yesterday between First Departure and Impervious. He did very well both games. First game he struggled a little bit early on. Sorry, I should say the second game he struggled a little bit early on when First Departure picked him. The first game, Invoker was absolutely dominating early for Impervious. He was destroying the game, but then he ran into some difficulty as soon as BKB started to come out, as soon as Orchid Malevolence was in place on the Clinks. So we'll have to see how this Invoker does here, whether he'll be shut out by heroes like Storm Spirit, who can also rush Orchid, in fact frequently does rush Orchid. We'll be watching carefully to see Storm Spirit's timings, because if MiTH is able to get more a very quick Orchid Malevolence, it could be trouble for Invoker. We could see the same thing we saw yesterday, which is a Yule Scepter of Divinity rush coming out from Invoker, just to make sure that he has some sort of countermeasure for that Orchid. So let's take a look at the players. On MiTH on the Dire, we have two stand-ins. One stand-in is their coach. He's playing the Naga Siren. We also have Moru standing in. He's going to be playing Storm Spirit. Then Lekels, probably MiTH's most famous player, performed quite well in the TI3 East qualifiers, and in general is one of the strongest carry players of Southeast Asia. I would go as far as to say one of the best farming carries in the world. He's playing the Morphling TNK on the Visage SD on the Clockwork, and this looks like an offlane Clock mid-storm support Naga Visage combo for the Morphling. Very classic lane here, the Visage Naga Morphling. Mineski, Pride of the Philippines, going to try to take this series out, try to go to the finals. The player in the finals will face the winner of Orange versus First Departure. Joven will be on the Invoker. Jules, the newest member of Mineski, formerly of Dreams as of TI3 era, he's on the Windrunner. Josh will be playing the Crystal Maiden. Jesse Vosh is on the Lone Druid. Looks to be solo safe. And there's somebody I'm missing, maybe? No, I think I got everybody. Wait, who's playing mid? Yeah, Joven, of course. Makes sense. So, Lone Druid solo safe should be pretty, not too much of a problem. I mean, Clockwork versus Lone Druid, the Clockwork is most likely not going to pose too much of a threat. Lone Druid really has to make a mistake in this lane to die or even to be in too much trouble. So, should be a pretty easy lane for Lone Druid, able to get some farm. Joven in the middle has gone for Quas first. He has been pooled Tangos, so you see this sort of new school mid build. 2 branches, a Null Talisman, and 2 Tangos. This is very low regen, but he knows that he can probably bring less regen to the lane. He doesn't need that Salve because he has gone Quas rather than the level 1 Exort. Level 1 Exort give him better last hitting at the cost of not having any regen. So these Quas are going to basically do the work that he would need a Salve to do, and he's just buffed his damage. So it's a compensation mechanism, and that's really what you want to do for your starting Invoker loadout. So 49 damage base, as you can see. 53 for Storm, so 3 branches. He's actually also been pooled 2 Tangos. You can see Moru is going for a very, very, very fast bottle. So we're most likely going to see him place more harassment up on Joven. He may also try to push the lane. Has he gone Remnant first? Yeah, okay. So he has Remnant first. What basically we're going to be looking for in this lane is Moru might try to push the lane under tower to get early. First of all, this will secure the runes for him. He's going to get a very early bottle, so he'll try to get the runes out from... There's almost no way that Joven is going to contest runes. And so the other problem is when the creeps under tower, it's going to be very difficult for Joven's 49 damage to actually clear them out very easily. So once we get to about 2 minutes, we'll see probably Moru start to... Ooh, he's playing very far back. He's afraid of a gank. Very, very scared that one of the supports... They know that Jay is off screen here, so they think that the Alchemist is going to come gank the Storm Spirit. And as a result, you see Moru playing quite defensively here. So, this is basically a try versus try situation. No, is it? Where's Naga? Okay, yeah. So, Trilane versus Trilane. Here comes Jay from the back. 4.5 seconds. Who is he going to throw out his stun? The Unstable Concoction will go on to TNK, doing a ton of damage. TNK already in a bit of trouble. The first blood comes out. No, Crystal Maiden will get it. Jay will walk away, and the trap works. Mineski, Lekels eats a Frostbite as well. He's taking quite a bit of damage. So, the position of the Alchemist is revealed. He comes out of his hiding spot up here. Lands a big Unstable Concoction on Visage. Visage, of course, just very unsurvivable low. Like, you can see 0 physical armor. So, no armor at all at level 1. Oh, actually, here comes Jay again. He's got half a second left. He does not get the stun off. And meanwhile, the stand-in taking a Frostbite doesn't manage to land the ensnare. The cast animation was interrupted by the Frostbite. And so, Jay walks away from what could have been a dangerous situation. Mineski doesn't find the second kill, but they're still happy with the results as they did manage to get first blood. Alchemist, the stun. Oh, actually, Jay goes again. He cuts through the trees. Half a second again. He stuns himself right under the tower. Now he's really in trouble. Mineski may have made an error here, but the stand-in NT and Cade, Naga, and Visage were not there to take advantage of the Alchemist. So even with 2 self-stuns, Jay is still safe. He's got this Quelling Blade. He is just cutting all sorts of paths for himself. This is something we haven't seen in ages. He's cutting paths through this entire tree section to give himself unorthodox angles. Oh, here comes the stun again, but he hasn't quite cut through the trees just yet. He throws out a stun onto Lakelz. Lakelz is very low. Power shot comes through, but he's morphing strength as fast as he can. Jules is trapped under tower, takes another hit. 2 more auto attacks. The Soul Assumption comes through. Yes, Windrunner is down, and the first kill for MiTH Trust is on the board. They kill Windrunner with Visage's Soul Assumption as well as 1 more auto attack. He'll have to use his last clarity for that, but they'll be very happy as they kept Lakelz alive. He's forced back to the tower, but he's still able to keep standing and hasn't died just yet. In fact, how's this farm? Not too great. 3 for 1 for Lakelz. Not a good start. The aggressive Trillion is really, really pressuring him. In some ways, I do feel that 6.79 is, if not a wake-up call, kind of a difficult patch for MiTH Trust to play in. They do very much favor this 4 Protect 1 playstyle, where they give Lakelz a hard carry. Oh, we have a disconnect. We're going to have to pause. We lost MiTH Trust's coach on the Naga Siren. MiTH Trust, they love playing Morphling, they love playing Anti-Mage, they love playing a farming Alchemist. And I do feel that it's difficult, not impossible, but more difficult to adopt this 4 Protect 1 style in 6.79 because you're not going to get kills early, or it's difficult to get kills early. The other team is going to put a lot of pressure on you. They might be running dual lanes. They might be running more greedy with their supports. And even if your carry, for instance, gets like 8 kills, like if your carry is getting the majority of the kills on your team, and they get a major kill streak, and then they die, then it's the other team gets so much gold for breaking that kill streak, and just in general they get so much gold for killing you that you can just really fall way, way behind, both in terms of the more aggressive lanings and in terms of being able to guarantee farm for your carry. And you can see here that if the Morphling is not able to find farm, MiTH Trust really don't have that many backup plans. Really, their only backup plan is Storm has an amazing game. So far, he's doing okay, but he's losing the lane to Invoker. He had to play defensively early. He wasn't sure where Alchemist was. Of course, Alchemist was hiding up here. But Invoker's 13 for 7. Storm is only 10 for 3. So Invoker's a relatively weak laner early. Storm should be able to win the lane, but he had to play defensively, and Joven's been playing well. So he's actually ahead. He has boots. No boots for Moru. Moru did go for that fast bottle. He has that up. But actually Tornado. Moru threw an up. Remnant comes out, but here's Josh. Frostbite hits the Storm Spirit. He doesn't have ultimate yet. He probably goes down here. Yes, it'll be a last hit for Crystal Maiden. So that's another kill on the board for Mineski. They're definitely winning the mid lane now with that very, very intelligent Crystal Maiden rotation. Meanwhile, Jay taking a lot of damage. He actually dies, so it'll be a last hit for Lakelz, the Morphling, getting a kill. So they did see the Crystal Maiden rotate. They realize as soon as she leaves that they can afford to play a little up. They put a lot of pressure on the Alchemist. They land that. They get that kill. So, an important kill for MiTH Trust. They need to secure this top lane for themselves. You can see that the farm situation for Lakelz relative to Jules is improving. The Morphling is finally able to find some dedicated farm because the supports have rotated. Josh and Jay, they're coming in the mid here. Jay is smoked up. They could come right into the Storm Spirit, but they need to wait. Storm Spirit is not actually at the lane yet. Mora is playing very far back. He knows that the supports are off camera. Oh, there's the haste rune. They know that this is gone, even if they saw it invisible. Mora has to be really careful. The tornado comes out. He's going to probably get stunned again. Oh, a very long duration stun. He's on the acid spray. Jay finds the last hit that time. The Alchemist securing some gold for himself. And Mora, that you have to feel that they probably would have seen that the haste rune disappeared from invisible players and known that trouble was incoming. But there was a very, very short time to react. He doesn't have boots, so it's very difficult to dodge the tornado. So once Joven threw him up into the air, Wex Quas Invoker is something we really don't typically see, but it does give him that longer duration tornado. The combination of tornado and cold snap just makes Moru, until he hits 6, completely unable to avoid a gank if it should come in. And now the Tri-Lane returns to its normal state as Jay is quite low, has no regen, a 0 charge magic stick, but he's already done a lot lot of work this game with 1 kill, 1 assist. And SD in the bottom is just being kept off the lane. Ooh, actually, action up top. Frostbite throwing that on the kills. Josh is way far forward, though. Eats a big waveform from Morphling, and a Soul Assumption is enough to finish him off. Jay throws out a long stun on the kills, but he's already morphing strength. Very difficult to actually kill Morphling in lane as long as he has mana to switch his strength into agility or vice versa.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Joven just continuing to lane mid. I was going to say that in the bottom lane at this point, Jesse Vosh is in complete control. SD is 16 for 0, which is a good score in lane for Clockwork, but Lone Druid is 25 for 12. He's the top farmer on the map, only rivaled really by Invoker on his own team. And just getting that early Orb of Venom allowed him to do a lot of zoning, a lot of pressure onto this lane, and it's been extremely effective for him, frankly. He's probably, I saw Gloves of Haste, so most likely going to be MiTH. Yeah, he's quite close to the MiTH gold. Jay, cutting through trees again. God, this is so sneaky what this Alchemist is doing. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. He throws it on Lakel's very quickly. He was spotted out by TNK, so he couldn't spend too much time sitting there charging.
Double damage.
And there's only 2 people here, so it's really just Jules and Jay is quite low on health, so they have to be pretty careful about this. I don't know how much they can necessarily make happen. Moru, meanwhile, understands just how tough this lane has been. He's gone to the jungle, so Storm is jungling Jules. He's trapped in the corner. SD will hook shot in. Easy kill. Wait for him to pick it up for Lakel's. Eats a stun, but not enough to kill him. And SD, an effective rotation for the Clockwork. Oh, meanwhile, in the mid, another rotation coming in. Joven is entangled, but not under the tower. Cold Snap gets thrown out on Naga Siren. She can't get any spells off. Was trying to mirror image to get out of some of the CC, but wasn't able to do it, and that's a failed gank attempt for MiTH. Another kill for Joven, 1 kill, 2 assists. Sunstrike is not even picked up for this Invoker because he's cross-wax, but he's still participating in just so many kills. Still keeping Storm Spirit off the lane, although Storm, using the jungle, did manage to hit level 6 for that ultimate. That's really the critical thing, is just being able to ball lightning out of bad situations. And SD, he wasn't getting anything in lane, but that was a very smart rotation for him. He picked up, by being able to get the kill, securing a little bit more room for Lakel's, who's still having a tough time. 16 for 2, it's okay, but you can see he's lagging behind Jules, and he's certainly lagging behind the other 2 farmers from Mineski, who's quite effectively farming up basically 3 core heroes. Crystal Maiden rotating around. She has her boots. Due to participating in all of their kills, excuse me. Josh on this Crystal Maiden has participated in all 4 of their kills, which is great for a CM early. You really want to be able to get boots. Probably Tranquils if you can. Oh, actually, Jay setting up another stun in the trees again. He's found a new angle. He throws it out. Oh my god, it just straight up kills TNK. He threw out the acid spray before tossing the stun, so it did even more damage. Visage with that 0 armor just takes such incredibly high damage from the Alchemist nuke, which is physical damage, so they just keep losing this Visage. He's just not able to stand up to the power of the Alchemist at all, and Jay is still cutting tree paths. This is so next level. Look at all the paths he's managed to make here. Like this one, he made like this path earlier, although it looks to have regrowed. Oh my god, this is just, it's so difficult to understand the angles that the Alchemist is going to come at you, and this is such clever play. SD, he hooks, and he doesn't hit Joven with the hook, but he still manages to actually get him in the cogs, but EMP gets thrown out, drains a lot of Clockwork's mana. It's not quite enough for Joven to stay alive, or is it? He's at 100 HP, SD is forced to flee. The damage from Josh is too much, the Invoker is still alive. Josh is entangled, he takes a Riptide, a couple more hits from Storm Spirit, and Visage's auto attack finally gets at least the Crystal Maiden, but they didn't get the Invoker, which is what they came for. A Crystal Maiden kill is nice, but it's not quite what they wanted. A Rocket Flare comes out. It's only a level 1. Yeah, it's only level 1. So it's not enough to actually get the Invoker killed. But MiTH starting to move their supports around a little bit more, trying to make more on the map happen. They need more mana on Visage. The Clarity hasn't gotten him to Soul Assumption range just yet. But Jay is so low. Maybe they can get this anyway. They entangle Jules after he wind runs. That's not good timing for Jules at all. Oh, nice stun from Jay. Stuns both Lakel's and TNK. But Jules is just getting things delivered. He's going to try to bottle regen. Eats the Soul Assumption. Now he needs to regen bottle as much as possible. No, waveform is enough. Lakel's picks up another kill. 3-0-1 from Morphling as he tries to move towards Lincoln's Sphere. And even though MiTH are being outfarmed all across the map, they are finally getting some mobility for their players, keeping them away from this annoying Quelling Blade Alchemist and trying to pick apart the rest of the team. And it's gone very well for them. They're now up 6-5 in terms of kills, but they haven't even touched the Lone Druid. Jesse Vosh has managed to free farm his way to 50 last hits. Oh, actually, in the middle, Joven finds another kill onto Storm Spirit. Even though SD is here, he is trapped inside Cogs, but he has phase boots. He may not be killed here. He's probably going to walk away, actually. Oh, Shackle Shot misses, and so does the Power Shot. Maybe they don't get SD as a result. Oh, Jules is going to chase him. He's using Wind Run to dodge the tower hits. He's still taking a lot of damage from the tower, but Joven does pick up that double kill, and they'll be very, very happy with that. Meanwhile, Jay and Josh still hiding out here. They don't have the Wind Runner, but they know that the supports aren't here either, so they may try to go for Lakel's enemy who's morphing. He's morphing agility. He doesn't see Jay. Jay is charging up. He's going to cut through the trees. Here he goes. He throws out a stun onto Lakel's. He's very low. The Crystal Nova comes out the Frostbite, but the Strength Morph is too strong for them. They have to flee, and Jay and Josh peel off as Jules comes in with an invisibility rune. Oh, he blocked the Naga. The Naga probably knows there's the Entangle anyway, but the Naga has to know they can't possibly fight this. Lakel's is so low. He's morphing strength again. His wand charges are doing so much to regain his mana. Now they shackle the Naga to the trees. There comes a huge waveform. Hits on all three. The stand-in is so low, but they can't decide who they want to go on. They do finally kill Lakel's. Even as Crystal Maiden falls, Jules is very, very low. He's taking so much damage. The hook shot, and TNK picks up the double. Even as, where is Jay? He's all the way across the map. Visage has picked up the familiars. They're chasing the Alchemist now. Meanwhile, Moro and Joven playing a game of cat and mouse under the middle tower as Lone Druid picks up the bottom tier 1 tower for Mineski. Jay just rotating around, trying to get away from these Visage familiars, trying not to get hit by a Grave Chill or an Entangle. He's got to be very careful. He's actually turning around, charging up a stun. SD blocks him off with Cogs. He hits TNK. There's a Tornado. Will there be an EMP to fall? The Tornado is enough to actually get the last hit. This Quaswex Invoker for Joven is doing so much work, but he's getting hit constantly with Battery Assault. Will it actually be enough to kill him? He uses wand charges to get back up. He's got drums available. He turns right around. SD's in so much trouble. Oh, nice. The epically, extremely well-timed Naga Siren Sleep. Here comes Moro to come back. Joven is very low. He dies. Actually, Lakel's and Moro are stuck together with a shackle, but it doesn't matter because Invoker is already down. Tier 2 tower brought down in the bottom. Oh, nice stun getting thrown out by Jay, but it's not quite enough to kill Naga Siren. Here's a waveform from Lakel's. Moro chasing as well. Moro finds his first kill of the game off this fight. Very, very chaotic. So far, it's a 3-for-3 trade, but the problem is it's 3-for-3 and 2 towers for Jesse Vosh, who's now up to MiTH, Face Boots on the Bear, and 1,700 gold. So an enormous coin purse picked up by Lone Druid while the rest of the team was fighting all of MiTH. And it's an okay fight for MiTH. I think they got the levels they needed. Naga Siren was able to get up to the Song of the Siren. It was critical to actually win the fight. Otherwise, they would have just lost Clockwork, lost a lot more than they did. It let Morphling and Storm Spirit re-engage. And Visage, of course, got familiars off the last fight, so a lot of levels picked up. You can see that MiTH really needed these levels. 8 on Clockwork, 7 on Visage, but this is really the story of the game to me. With no MiTH, Invoker is 3 levels ahead of Storm Spirit. 3 levels is an enormous gulf at 13 minutes for mid. It's just, Mineski is just way up, just based on the Invoker alone, to say nothing of the fact that Lone Druid has been completely uncontested in any meaningful way. Crystal Maiden trapped up top by a good hookshot from SD, waveform to finish it off. They're just using kills to try to get Lakel's to where he needs to be. He has not that much farm. In fact, he's only the 4th most farm person in terms of last hits. But if you look at GPM, he's actually doing quite competitively. He's right around where Jules is, because he has participated in 9 of MiTH's 11 kills. But they know they need to play catch-up for Morphling. They know they're behind. You can see that this Hand of MiTH is a very atypical pickup for Morphling, but MiTH know that they are behind. They are behind the ball. They need to start picking up more for the Morphling, especially levels. That's what this MiTH is really for. His gold income is actually okay. It's more the issue that he needs to pick up more levels to keep up with Lone Druid, to keep up with Invoker. And you can see Morphling now level 10, so the MiTH is definitely going to help in terms of getting the XP. It's the only MiTH on anybody on this map. Smoke up for Mineski, for MiTH. They go in on Jesse Vosh. This is exactly the person they need to kill. He's alone down here. He's cogsed in. 4 players here. Nice Tornado, but Jesse Vosh is very low. 1 more hit will do it. They pick off the Lone Druid. A critical kill. The trade-off so far is SD, but the Familiar Stones and the Medallion are the response onto Joven. But he's feeling very confident. He's turning it right around on Moro, who has no mana to get away from this. He manages to ball Lightning just far enough to get out of the effective range. So a Clockwork for a Lone Druid is the final trade. It is offlaner for offlaner, but MiTH will be happy unless Jay manages to make something of this. He begins the Unstable Concoction charge a little bit late. He's actually entangled as well. Can he find the Storm Spirit? The Tornado is... The tornado damage ends up... Oh, actually, he's trapped in with the creeps, so Jay is actually trapped. But there's really nothing that MiTH can do about it, and they managed to get the Storm Spirit and the Clockwork for Lone Druid. Probably not worth it for MiTH in the end, because, oh, nice hook shot onto Jules. SD is right here. The Battery Assault comes through as well. Jules will not be able to use Wind Run at all. It'll expire before the Cogs does, and Lakel's... Oh, actually, the Rocket Flare ends up stealing that kill. They probably should have given that to Lakel's. The Morphling needs it more than the Clockwork does, but Clockwork continuing to have a good game. SD really putting this hero through its paces, trying to go for a very fast Force Staff. And he's only about 900 off from it, even 850 gold off from the Force Staff. Alchemist, Jules actually starting on the Mechanism. Is he done? He is done. So the Mechanism, as soon as Windrunner comes up, will be complete. Mech status for MiTH is no way. They just finished the Medallion for Visage. He's added a headdress on since then, but no farther along than that. And Jay has his Phase Boots. He has his Medallion. This is a very effective support Alch whenever they need it, really. Moru, I mean, Star Spirit has really struggled this game. He's 1-4-3, second minute, so the game will go up on Crystal Maiden, then that, Maiden Midas, trying to be Puppy. Everybody wants to be Puppy now. Alright, I mean, that's not fair. Everybody wants to be, LGD International, because they did it first.
Top tower is under attack.
Top tower is the next target for Mineski. A fortification immediately thrown out by MiTH. This will probably push them off the lane. No, it looks like Jesse Vosh just wants to use those last couple hits of the Battle Cry to bring down the tower. And he'll do it, too. Force Staff forward from Joven. He's going to throw out the Tornado. It will hit Naga Siren. Does she have a Song of the Siren available? No, she had just used it. 140 seconds still left on the cooldown. Here comes Lone Druid. The Shackle Shot still not lucky to actually get at Jules, but the Power Shot will do it. So they're very deep in enemy territory, but without Naga Siren, we don't really see MiTH trying to respond to this. It looks like Alchemist died again. Storm Spirit got another kill, so that's a second kill for Storm Spirit this game. Pretty important. Jesse Vosh TPs to the middle to do more. It looks like he's just going to go straight for the Radiance, and no reason not to. I mean, even after MiTH, it looks like this will be shorter than 20 minutes for his Radiance, so very, very, very good timing for Jesse Vosh to hit his items here. 95 last hits for him in 17 minutes. Just compared to Lakel's, who he introduced as one of the best farmers, but has had a difficult game. The aggressive tri-lane held him off quite a bit of farm. He's been in 10 kills. I mean, 4, 1, and 6. This is not your AFK farming up hero. He's very much had excellently positioned waveforms. He's been part of so many fights in which he's had to intelligently morph to strengthen back and to strengthen back, but he's finally, for the first time in the game, reached more last hits than Jules, and he's finally also passed Jules in terms of net worth, although quite a bit of that is bound up in this hand of MiTH. At the very least, we will see Morphling finish his Lincoln Sphere pretty soon, but once he has the Lincoln Sphere, he can start going into damage items and maybe make the impact that MiTH are looking from him this game. They walk over a smoke, so they walk over a sentry, but it wouldn't have seen them because they're smoked up. Naga, Visage, and Clockwork. They just need a good hook shot. Once they know where Joven is, Joven going straight for that Scythe of Ice. He's finished the ultimate orb portion of it first. Once he comes on screen, I think you'll expect to see them hook him. No, they go for Josh instead. They miss the hook shot. So Crystal Maiden basically completely safe. Or is she? The long distance entangle will hit. Here come the familiars. Soul Assumption to finish him off. Once the entangle hit, the Crystal Maiden's fate was basically sealed. They did use hookshot for that, and it missed, so they are not able to pursue Joven with it, unfortunately. Crystal Maiden a far lower priority kill than the Invoker, but they'll take it. They'll get something out of the gank. And 15-12 down the scoreline. They've stopped the push temporarily, even if they are 4 towers behind. If we look at gold, I mean, those 4 towers are going to tell most of the tale. It's 10k gold advantage for Mineski, 5k gold XP advantage, but that doesn't mean MiTH are out of it. As long as they stabilize and manage to get items on the Morphling, he could outcarry Lone Druid without too much issue. The main thing is that Storm Spirit is just really behind. He's not going for that Orchid Malevolence, which with a better early game he would have. You see that he's actually making the BKB first. This is a solid response to Invoker, but it's a very defensive response to Invoker. Meanwhile, Jay just farming these... God, this Support Alchemist has so much money. I mean, he's... pretty respectable net worth. It's higher than Storm Spirits, so their position 4 Alch is higher than the position 2 Storm. He started to level Grievel's Greed. In fact, he's even leveling at a level early. He hasn't taken the 4th rank in Acid Spray. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but if he's going to farm the Ancients, it'll certainly help a lot to actually be getting that extra gold from each of the Ancients. And he's gotten Blink Dagger, so Phase Boots, Medallion, Blink. This is the entire loadout that you want for a support Alch. After this point, you can basically go carry items. You can basically go straight for the Assault Cuirass because you have everything that you need. Meanwhile, in the middle, Moru was trying to make a push, but instead he eats a major stun. This is a serious mistake for Storm Spirit to try to solo push this tower, and all Jay needed to do was charge up this stun, TP, and then throw out a major stun onto the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit did not manage to dodge it with the ball lightning, and once he was basically perma-stunned, he was dead in the water. Medallion, Acid Spray, you're just going to be taking a tremendous amount of damage. And under tower as well, you're even taking tower damage, and even the tower damage is boosted, so...
Is under attack.
Unfortunately, that'll be the 5th death for Storm Spirit this game. Oh, actually, we missed a kill up top. There is a sleep coming out, but Clockwork is already down. SD actually picked that fight. He hookshotted it in. And now, we'll see if they manage to make anything of it. The mechanism gets thrown out. Jules is very, very low. Nice waveform from Lakel's, but unfortunately, they eat a huge EMP. Visage is already on the ground. Lakel's is out of mana, and that's 3. And now the Standard is in trouble. Naga has next to no mana. She uses Mirror Image to try to get out of this fight. Medallion was deflected by that, but they already kill him. It's a triple kill for Joven. Here comes Moro. He's used all of his mana to join this fight. He may not even get Jules. He manages to ball lightning out another shackle that doesn't latch, but unfortunately Medallion. It's an ultra kill for Joven. This is a disaster for Myth Trust. They went in on the Invoker, and all Invoker needed to do, he's got this maxed Wex. He throws out an EMP, and Storm Spirit, Morphling, these are Visage. These are heroes that so desperately need access to their mana pool, and when that EMP hit, and all of a sudden Morphling has no mana left to do anything. He has nothing to morph. Oh, SD's in trouble now. He eats the boosted unstable concoction. Here's the tornado. It'll get another last hit. It won't actually. He manages to one charge and bottle his way out of the fight. So SD, barely staying alive, keeps his hookshot available, but the tier 2 tower is now in trouble. And Jesse Vosh doesn't even care. He's still farming down here. He's got his Radiance in just a moment. Actually, with the tower gold, he probably has it. 12.5k net worth for Joven as well. What a game for Invoker, especially after that last fight. The Scythe of Vice is complete, but more importantly, those EMPs, that EMP during that fight hitting on 3 Myth Trust heroes. People have been talking about whether or not EMP, the buffs to it are really that effective for making Invoker a viable hero, or at least Quas Wex a viable build for him. But let me tell you, against Morphling, having that huge one-shot mana drain is just enormously effective. It's as potent as like a Lion Chain Stun into Mana Drain would be. Not to mention, I mean, EMP now gives Invoker the mana back, right? I believe as of the patch, it actually gives him the mana back. Oh, Lakel's tossed up again. He'll be tornadoed. All of his mana is gone. Again, he uses wand charges to try to help his morphing strength as fast as he can, but it's not enough. It's another kill. This one going out onto Windrunner. And Mineski have seized control of this game off of an initiation from Myth Trust. Maybe not the wisest one after a great game. SD. Oh, here he comes. He hookshots in, force-staffs himself out, just trying to save TNK, who will eat the stun, but at least on the high ground. Deafening Blast wide of the mark. Josh is actually stunned up. This Crystal Maiden in a lot of trouble. Visage Familiar is trying to do the rest of the work, but Moru, he's shackle shotted up. He's taking a power shot. Another tornado. That'll be a dead Storm Spirit. TNK, will he eat the stun? Blink up to the high ground from Alchemist. Now they're playing boldly. Now Mineski is rushing in. The Sheep comes out onto SD. The Clockwork will go down. And finally, Lone Druid is here. He's here to snipe a courier. He's here to take the tower. Jesse Vosh is here to finish this game, and that's exactly what Mineski are going to do. Myth Trust left without any recourse as their entire team wiped 2 times in a row, and this will be game 1 of this series going to Mineski, almost unquestionably, folks. The Raxes are now going down. Myth Trust can't believe it. They seemed stable only moments ago, but a botched Clockwork initiation leading to 4 deaths, an ultra kill for Joven, and now Mineski are in absolutely unparalleled control of this game, going for a second set of Rax, even with all of Myth Trust up, even with the cooldown up for Hook. Jay takes a Storm Spirit initiation, dies very, very quickly. That was excellent of them. They managed to get that medallion. Here comes another big AMP, though, and the Chaos Meteor. Naga Siren already on the ground. Lakel's forced to flee. SD, he hookshots, he misses. The hookshot misses from SD. They can ill afford to do that. They force staff forward, still trying to trap anybody into the cogs. It will be Joven. He will force staff himself out. Here comes Moru. The electric lasso comes out. Nice shackle shot from Jules. Joven eating a medallion. He's so low, he gets hit with the adaptive strike from Morphling. But 4 seconds left. He actually, he's going to replicate forward. He's got another waveform in a moment, but another tornado. And here comes Jay. The stun onto Lakel's. Did they overextend? Yes. 55-second respawn for Lakels. He thought he would get that kill, but the loop around from Mineski, the counter gank came out, and now SD, he's cold snapped. Even with no entangle procs, they do get one entangle proc at the end, and this might be all she wrote for MiTH this game, folks. TNK will drop another triple kill for Jesse Vosh and the Lone Druid. They let him farm for so long, and now he's a viable alternative threat. Joven's still alive. Oh my god, he manages to survive in the rampage for Lone Druid, but did you guys see that snap tornado into ghost form? Because that was actually pretty insane. An absolutely nuts game from Joven. Very, very, very well played. Honestly, a clinic in how to play Quas Wex Invoker in the new patch. Of course, yeah, part of it is, you know, have an Alchemist. Support Alchemist is very, very strong, and Jay had a great game, but honestly, you can't say anything bad about the play of any of the members on Mineski. There was a lot of inventive, clever play. The Quelling Blade early from the Alchemist, managing to make that top lane so chaotic and so difficult to deal with for MiTH, especially for Visage with that extremely low base resistance and base armor. He was just wrecked again and again by that Alchemist stun. Joven dominated the mid, 13, 1, and 12. Again, this is not a Sunstrike Invoker. He does not have global presence. He didn't rush Boots of Travel, and yet he participated in 25 of Mineski's 28 kills, including an ultra kill followed by a triple kill. Jesse Vosh secures his only 5 kills of the game. Right at the very end, he gets a rampage straight up, and he ends up with 650 GPM. MiTH, they are playing with 2 stand-ins. It's not an easy time for them, but they'll definitely have to change something up for game 2, as they, especially the Storm Spirit, was 2, 8, and 5, didn't make anything happen. We'll see what they have in store for game 2. Thanks for watching.